Supercross Live on supercrossonline.com. Kevin Barnett and Jim Holley are wrapping up Anaheim, the last and third time we've been inside this stadium, Jim. And I'll tell you what, tonight, you come into a day waiting for a day of racing and you think, oh, here's what could happen. It'd be really unbelievable if these guys got up front and duked it out. And that happened in both classes.
It did, and especially in that 250 class. I mean, you thought that maybe Cole Seeley was going to win another one here at Anaheim, and he just lost the front end. And, you know, who knows? I mean, Dean was putting some heavy pressure on him, but he's tied now. He's tied with Anderson as they go on to San Diego. You know, what do you say? I mean, who's gonna run that number, that red background? I don't know if maybe they're gonna split it in half or something. That'd be kind of cool to see.
Half red, half white.
Yeah, I mean that'd be neat. But you know, Anderson had his problems tonight. Him and Stewart got together, and I noticed after, you know, they talked a little bit about it. No fists were thrown or anything like that, but just a little discussion. But what do you say about Anderson? I mean, that guy just kept coming, and I was surprised that he worked up and finished where he did.
Yeah, he was charging for sure. And that crash with Stewart, it didn't look like anything outside of a racing incident. It seemed like Stewart was coming up the inside, and once they got together, people looked like, oh, he T-boned him, but I don't think that's really what happened. They kind of got locked together.
Well, I think it started as the whoops into that, you know, right-hander after the whoops, because that's what Malcolm was pointing to when they were talking. Hey, man, you came underneath there and pushed me out of the way. I'm just, you know, I'm not going to let anybody go. I don't care if you're leading the championship. You know, I'm here to fight for a race win also. But yeah, it was a great night, and, you know, I mean, you hate this championship to come down to 1 or 2 points, and you got to look back at the last time we were here when Anderson got docked for you know, jumping the triple on the red cross flags.
So things remain close. One more round to go before the big break. It will be in San Diego next week for the 250 West.
Yeah, and you know, the other guy that I thought that rode really well and not getting the starts that I thought he would, Cooper Webb. I mean, Cooper Webb to finish up third, and he was a long third behind, but hey, he was on the box and good for bonuses.
Yeah, Cooper Webb continues to show tremendous speed as a rookie. In the 450 class, at one point you looked up and it looked like the pre-race press conference for the entire season. You looked up and thought, here are all the big names, back to back to back. Stewart, Villopoto, Dungey, Reed, Barcia, everybody running all together. But then some guys kind of fell away and it became just a three-man race. And then at the end, it was Reed pulling away with Roczen.
Yeah, I was actually talking to a friend of mine, Ronnie Jones, and I said, you know, and then there were 3, because at one point we had 6 out there battling, and you know, what can you say about Chad Reed? I mean, 43 wins now. He's only 2 points out of that championship fight to Villopoto. And, you know, the whole shot went to James Stewart. He collects $1,500 from Nuclear Cowboys, but right away Villopoto retakes the lead as they come out of it, as they cross the Nuclear Cowboys whole shot line. And then they were out there battling, but, you know, Reedy hung tough. I mean, he knew he didn't want to let Villopoto get away like what happened we saw last weekend in Oakland there. But, you know, Kenny Roczen was just putting the pressure on tonight. Reed trying everything to get around him, but, you know, in different fashion, you know, a totally different race win for Chad Reed here at Anaheim than we saw 2 weeks ago here at Anaheim.
Yeah, very dominant performance from the 22, passed for Villopoto and was out front, stayed out front. Tremendous race from him. How about Stewart and Dungey, both going down in separate incidents on their own?
Yeah, and unfortunate, you know, Stewart was able to get back up, and I think he finished up 7th, where Dungey had to pull in. I mean, I'm not so sure. I mean, when I saw his bike in the pits, there was no left-hand grip on it. The perch for the clutch lever was hanging down and everything. He had a hard time putting it in neutral. Carlos Rivera's mechanic, MMI graduate there, was working frantically to get it back on, but they just lost too much time, and Dungey rode it back in. They didn't have a spare grip. I mean, when guys come down here in the mechanics here, they got spare wheels and other things like that, but they don't have spare grips. You can't send a guy out there with no left grip. So, you know, it was just unfortunate for Dungey and Stewart, but, you know, who else I thought rode pretty well tonight was Barcia. I watched him, you know, slowly coming up into that 4th, and it was good for him. But, you know, Villopoto a 3rd, I think he's okay with it. I mean, he's in a different position. He's still got the lead as we're heading down to San Diego, and San Diego's been good to Chad Reed in the past.
5th is worth mentioning. Weston Pike comes home
Unbelievable,
in 5th.
Unbelievable. Weston that guy just keeps chomping at the bit, man. He is like a bulldog. He never lets go. Once he gets a hold of something, he's hanging on. And I know Twitter and Facebook and all the tweets are going to blow up. They're going to be putting pressure on him. Hey, we want to see him on Josh Hill's bike, and we want to see him on a factory bike and see what he can do.
He's already doing great on his own bike. Much more support for Weston Pike this year. And boy, if you drew it up at the beginning of the year and said this could be a great season, it has delivered so far through 5 rounds. Amazing racing every single night. You're never quite sure who's going to win. We have a hard time picking them on Supercross Live during the day. Just throw them in a bag and shake it up, pull somebody out.
Well, and you got to remember, tonight was the first one of that Toyota Triple Challenge, and Chad Reed is the only rider in line to win that $250,000. So, I mean, Chad Reed's on his way, and I talked to him on the podium. He says, you know, I think Arlington owes me one. So if he can win Arlington and he can win New Jersey, he can pick up $250,000. He says, God knows we need it at the team here. You know, this costs a lot of money to go racing. So hopefully good things will happen with Chad Reed, and he can pick up an extra $250,000 from Toyota. If not, hey, the winner who has the most points at the end of that little 3-race championship fight inside the major championship fight, a brand new Toyota Tundra truck.
We asked a couple of weeks ago how long would it be for number 43, for number 22. It was just 2 weeks. Great season, great racing, all here on Supercross Live on supercrossonline.com. That'll do it from Anaheim. Don't forget San Diego coming up next.